So I'm going to lay out an argument to you guys on Rover Sports right now. And I want to thank the Buffalo Bills or the Bills supporters for this channel, for really supporting the videos that I make. I really appreciate them tuning into the show. And in particular, Oscar has been a guy that's been a big Bills fan, and I am going to continue to do the Josh Allen film reviews this year. I plan on continuing that. And also for the upcoming year, with the Bills, with the Giants, the Denver Broncos, and the 49ers, those four teams, I want to give out game plans for the following week. So when the Bills are actually playing the Giants, I don't know, I'm a Giants fan first, so I might have to go against Buffalo. But in week 3, whatever team Buffalo is going to be playing, I will look at their first 2 games and I will decipher where we as Bills fans can attack. Because I really do like the Buffalo Bills. The culture of Buffalo is a special place, and it's different than most NFL fan bases, and I love it. It's really a genuine community that cares about football. Their fans have been nothing but great people. Kyle Williams is an amazing example of a Buffalo Bill, and several of these guys go to Buffalo, and they just are lifelong Bills, like Jim Kelly and the guys of the 90s, like Furman Thomas. And I was too young when they experienced their Super Bowls, but they've had a lot of coaching turnover. And I'm going to explain now just kind of an overview of the Buffalo Bills, what I like about their team, and why they will make the playoffs. So I'm going to argue pro-Bills, why they will make the playoffs, and I believe they will. I don't believe they're going to win the AFC East. I'm not going to go against the Patriots and Tom Brady, but I do believe the Bills can get to 10-6 and can get a wild card, which would be absolutely huge. So let's talk about the Buffalo Bills, and let's talk about the top and just general how I feel about the coaching staff of the Buffalo Bills. Sean McDermott, as a defensive guy, I believe Leslie Frazier is still on the staff defensively, and he is, and he's a huge weapon to have. But Sean McDermott in Buffalo, he's not a flashy name. He's never really been a head coach before. He's kind of a little bit like Garrett when he claps. He claps a lot. He has Leslie Frazier to help him out. He is kind of like a CEO. He's kind of this version of the NFL's Coach Ed Orgeron. I think that Coach McDermott is stressing, though, the turnovers, which the Bills last year were 28th in the NFL in giveaways. They had 2 giveaways. Actually, their scoring defense was not that good. They were in the bottom, I think, 20 in terms of, I think they gave up still 24 points a game. And the turnover battle, they were losing. Their turnover margin was really bad. So that's what kind of derailed Buffalo last year. But staying on topic with Sean McDermott is going to be a lifelong. I think he's going to coach in Buffalo for about 10 years. And there's components that let's talk about what I don't like about McDermott. He's not an offensive coach. I don't know how great he is at defense. He's had very good personnel. The pass defense has been spectacular. I mean, Tre'Davious White, you look at Jordan Poyer, what he is, Micah Hyde signing him, making the playoffs making the playoffs with Tyrod Taylor was really phenomenal. Winning that game in Atlanta was one of the biggest Bills wins probably in a long time. And so McDermott, defensively, the pass defense is ridiculously good. They only give up 187 yards a game. It's the best pass defense in the NFL and the best secondary, the 2 best safeties that are both Pro Bowl caliber guys. So he does a good job there. Linebacker-wise, I think Milano is a really good player. Tremaine Edmonds, I'm so excited to continue to see his growth. And then on the defensive line, there's great potential. So I know I'm getting into the roster a little bit. McDermott is not an offensive guy. I don't think that he's really an elite coach, but I believe he's a good coach. Chemistry-wise, he keeps the team in really high spirits. He has a great relationship with Josh Allen, and even more importantly, he has an unbelievable relationship with Brandon Beane, and he is actually happy to be in Buffalo. A lot of times, Buffalo will get like the Chan Gailey. They'll just get recycled kind of coaches lately. Rex Ryan, they will get kind of the recycled NFL head coaches. And now the Buffalo Bills, what they are doing, hold on 1 second. Ooh, 1 second here. Okay. The Buffalo Bills, sorry about that. The Bills now, with Sean McDermott, they're getting a guy that's going to stay in Buffalo. Then you look at the offensive coordinator, and the offensive coordinator is a guy that I don't consider to be one of the best elite offensive minds. He's a guy that was with New England as a tight ends coach, and then he went to Alabama. Even Sark and Lane Kiffin, nobody really fails at Alabama. You have the best talent. But Dable is a guy that gets along with Josh Allen. He runs things out of a bunch set, which I really like. He loves to bunch set, and he's very aggressive. Josh Allen was throwing the ball deep last year. He's not throwing the ball too short. Like Jim Bob Cooter, I don't like coaches in the NFL that do bubble screens, and I'm a big fan of Dable in that he'll take shots during a game, and he'll call aggressive calls. And in Miami, the last game of the season, he was aggressive. At Miami, too, aggressive. Versus Detroit, he has a good feel for the game as a play caller. He knows when to run the ball. And the thing about Dable is that I don't think that he's some kind of genius. He's definitely not an amazing I don't think he would be like an awesome head coach. But he gets along with Allen. He's a really good guy. And he's from Buffalo. And he's going to stay here, meaning that there's continuity. That this coach, like you look at the coach of the Cowboys, offense and defense, it's Kellen Moore and it's Chris Richard. And both of those guys are rock stars. And both of those guys are gone. The coach of the Redskins offense is Kevin O'Connell. He's going to be gone. You look at the Tennessee offensive coordinator, Matt LaFleur. He had an average season, and he was gone after 1 year. So Dable, I don't think Dable really wants to be a head coach. He's like Mike Pettin in Green Bay. He's staying as a coordinator, and exactly like Leslie Frazier and McDermott. So Brandon Beane, McDermott, Frazier, and Dable are all staying for these players. So Josh Allen doesn't have to learn a new offense, which is beautiful. This defense is going to have the same system every year. So even though you look at Sean McDermott, and I wouldn't even rank him maybe in the top 10 of coaches based on accomplishments, and I just look at McDermott and what does he bring that's super special. I look at even Mike Zimmer as more of a tactician. Again, McDermott from the outside, and maybe this is not fair. I'm maybe not a defensive guy. I don't know how elite he is. And when I look at the best coaches, I look at Belichick, I look at Frank Reich. Most of them are offensive guys. So if you're going to be a defensive guy, like maybe Dan Quinn, I look at from his days in Seattle, and he got to the Super Bowl, and I just look at how he carries himself and the decisions that he makes. If McDermott can even just communicate with Josh even more, McDermott is very good. And I guess that the head coach in this case might be a little overrated because the staff is all helping out the Buffalo Bills. Like Frazier is helping. It's a team-oriented thing. And I can respect that. And so McDermott, he does have pressure because Josh Allen is not making a lot of money. Let's look at the Bills roster now, and let's talk about why they will make the playoffs, okay? One reason why I believe they're a wild card team is because of the secondary. Poyer, their right cornerback kind of has to be solved a little bit. But you still have White, who's a Pro Bowler, Micah Hyde, Jordan Poyer, and then Lorenzo Alexander is still playing for the Bills. Milano and Edmonds, and then the consistency of Alexander. Alexander could still play. Jerry Hughes is an unbelievable pass rusher. He can take over games and seasons. You put Ed Oliver and Harrison Phillips, who you got out of Stanford. Latualele is a guy that Brandon Beane and McDermott are familiar with from Carolina days. And then you have to look at Shaq Lawson from Clemson on this defensive line as well. So I really like this defense a heck of a lot. Offensive line-wise, Cody Ford, what a great pick. You get Morse and you get Cody Ford. You also get Quentin Spain that Titans fans will tell you is not very good. The offensive line, you have Spencer Long, Deion Dawkins, who the offensive line is probably the weakness of this team. Then as your tight ends, the guy, luckily you got that contract of Charles Clay off of your team. But I look at this team, and the running back wise, it's going to be a team where you have Mitch Morse, Quinn Spain, Cody Ford, and Dawkins. I believe that you're going to kind of be offensively. I'm more worried about this team than defensively. Defensively, Ed Oliver, Phillips, Latualele, but really Shaq Lawson, Jerry Hughes, Tremaine Edmonds. It's an elite defense that Brandon Beane has put together. I expect the defense to be very good. So it could be Chicago, right? There's talent. If Tremaine Edmonds makes that step, this defense could be so nasty. And on third down, they're pretty good at getting off the field, especially in passing situations. Now that you have Oliver to just stunt that run, you need that running game to be stopped. But Oliver's going to play a crucial role because if you're a good pass rusher, you as a rookie can help contribute to a playoff team. That's how you could be awesome. Look at Bradley Chubb last year. You can be an awesome, awesome player, right? So when we look at this team, a lot of people are going to say that the wide receivers are a weakness. But for Josh Allen, I don't necessarily believe that they're a weakness. And I'm not one to believe that you have to have incredible receivers to do this thing and be really ridiculous. Look at the LA Rams and how good their offense was. The Rams got Robert Woods, who used to be in Buffalo. And Woods has talent, but the Rams got the most out of Robert Woods. They get the most out of Cooper Kupp. And then they have other tight ends that can help them. The Bills this year, I expect Singletary to kind of be the new guy. So this is going to be a passing of the torch. I expect Singletary to maybe get like 40% of the carries, Shady maybe 60%. Just based on Shady's age, Frank Gore is going to come in goal line situations, and Gore is going to be an unbelievable mentor. I love that from Brandon Beane, like bringing in these high-character guys. You bring in Frank Gore, who is one of the most respected players in the NFL, a Hall of Famer in my view, and just a place that just a guy that is pretty much exceptional on and off the field and universally respected. You have Zay Jones that last year made more plays. People want to say he's a bust because of his first year. David Sills out of West Virginia, he was a very instinctive player with Will Grier. And that's a guy that was one of the best quarterback prospects in the country out of Maryland when he was a kid. So this is a guy in David Sills that could potentially be like, you look at, I'm not going to say he's Edelman, but he has Edelman qualities because Edelman was a college quarterback, and you understand the game cerebrally when you are David Sills. So that's an exciting player, and you have Cole Beasley. I think Cole Beasley is even going to have a really good year without like being in the system of Derek Dooley and all the awkwardness with Dez and all the drama of Dallas. Robert Foster, I'm a big fan of. People hate on Robert because he's a seventh rounder. He's raw, but Robert Foster can fly. I think he's such a weapon. John Brown. So then you have Zay Jones in the middle of the field. Dawson Knox has been really good in the training camp. Out of Ole Miss, I didn't really know him that well because I think that Dawson Knox played with A.J. Brown. He played with DeMarcus Lodge and D.K. Metcalf in a really crazy Phil Longo offense. Dawson Knox could be like a reliable receiver, kind of what like Jack Nicklaus's grandson was, like a Nick O'Leary. So I look at Knox, and Knox is a very important player. Like these rookies, Singletary, Knox, Cody Ford, they're going to be in positions where they're going to have to succeed. So looking at the offense, Cole Beasley's going to be good. Robert Foster's going to break out. Josh Allen has weapons. He has John Brown. You don't need the unbelievable receiver. It's going to be a wide receiver by committee group. I look at David Sills as really helping this offense. And then the running game of, I think that this guy Singletary, he reminds me of a Matt Forte. He's kind of a bigger back, and he just has a great sense for the game. He just really... he can navigate. He knows how to hit holes. He's not like the fastest guy, but he just falls forward. He's like a Fred Jackson type of back, but I think he's going to be even more consistent as a back. He's kind of on the bigger side, and I like him a lot. He's kind of like DeMarco Murray. I just like Singletary a lot. I think he's going to have a very successful 8-year NFL career for the Bills. And running backs for rookies, you can be awesome. So you have Shady McCoy. He's definitely the Lightning. He's not the Thunder. He's going to be the Lightning. He's going to juke people out. And then you have the Thunder, which is Devin Singletary, combined with Frank Gore, who is a physical back in his own right. DeMarco is a very wise and mature fullback. Josh Allen, he is the big factor for the Bills. And really, if you had a choice of quarterbacks in the NFL to build your franchise around, I view this guy in the same light that I view Roethlisberger. Because Roethlisberger is not like a perfect kind of let's just draw it up and let's have Ben throw it on time to guys. He's not like a Garoppolo who's a timing-based quarterback. He's not even like a Phillip Rivers and Alex Smith, guys that are really accurate, that get the ball out of their hands in a very quick fashion. He's not a Tua. He's not a Steve Young. It's not going to look graceful. Josh Allen is going to be a guy that's an unbelievable improviser. He can run around and make plays. And that's what Big Ben did. If you go back to when Big Ben won that Super Bowl for the Pittsburgh Steelers and when Big Ben beat Jake Plummer, when he went into Indianapolis and played Peyton Manning and played really well, Big Ben limited mistakes, but Big Ben would go outside the pocket, improvise, and make unbelievable plays. And then Palomalu and the defense would be there carrying the team. So for this young team, the Bills roster is very good. Frazier, McDermott, let's talk about the strengths. The defense is a strength. And now you have Josh Allen, and I love the relationship with Ken Dorsey. I'm very pro Buffalo. I don't know how. I don't believe that Josh Allen can turn into Mahomes and the Bills can win 12 games and just suddenly take over New England. But I believe that they're better than the Jets, the roster. The defense is better. They are just going to have to get the mindset, because they're still young. They're going to have to get the mindset that it's time to win games and it's time to close out games. Like that Miami game on the road cannot happen. But let's look back at the schedule, okay? Let's look back at the Bills' schedule. So really with Josh Allen, he went into Minnesota, and he was completely flying by the seat of his pants, and he leapt over Anthony Barr. Jerry Hughes went nuts. Bills won. Then the Bills played the Packers, and that was a complete mess. Buffalo, I believe Josh Allen might have been in that game. A good win over the Tennessee Titans. The Bills, Josh Allen got hurt in this game to Houston, but this is now when the Bills stepped it up, and then the Colts just destroyed the Bills. It might have been a Peterman game. So last year was a transition year. It's never going to be pretty with your rookie quarterback coming in, and that's what last year was. Complete just we're turning everything over, and we're improvising our way, and we're getting through the year, and it's not going to be pretty. It's like potty training, because you have the quarterbacks, and you need your quarterbacks to be rolling. Then the Bills, the Patriots 25-6. First half, the Bills played great defense in that game. A lot of heart, actually. It was just a Peterman game. Then Chicago came in, beat them. Then they went to the Jets, and Matt Barkley played, and they played really well. But Todd Bowles, that was the Jets kind of quitting. Buffalo, then Josh Allen comes back after the bye. He conquers Jalen Ramsey. So I look at this after the bye week, and this with Josh Allen, weeks 12 through 17. These are all really good performances that I believe why the Bills can make the playoffs. Bills beat the Jaguars. Miami game, Charles Clay had a touchdown. Josh Allen had opportunities to close that out. That was, in hindsight, a moral victory because Josh Allen could taste like how close the game was. Like, that was a heartbreaking loss, and you could see that affect Josh Allen to the point where I'm not putting up with this BS anymore. That game was so winnable, and Josh Allen just lost. And instead of him pouting, he was infuriated because the Bills flat out had Miami multiple times. Josh Allen missed multiple touchdowns he could have had. He played really well in spurts, but he couldn't finish. And that Miami game was heartbreaking with Charles Clay having that touchdown. It's painful to even talk about. But having those games in the regular season, that is so great for the maturity of a rookie quarterback. And it's great that he got to play and experience those situations and experience that heartbreak. Then he threw a game-losing interception against Sam Darnold. 2 consecutive weeks of heartbreak where the Bills were in the game and had a chance. And his friend Sam Darnold gets to ride off into the sunset, and he throws a back-breaking interception on the last drive. But again, he's in the fire. He's in those pressure situations. That's what you want of a team. Then they play the Detroit Lions, and they close the game out on a 5-minute drive with Josh Allen scrambling. Josh Allen hits Robert Foster late in the second half. Josh Allen in the third quarter was like, I'm not losing to Stafford and Patricia and this half-baked Detroit team. And that win was huge. A beautiful, beautiful win. Then you go up to Foxborough, and this experience was fantastic. The first half, Josh Allen, his mind was everywhere. You could tell. And then he settled in. And they made a push a little bit in the second half. And he settled in and made some throws. He was wild in the first half. And he hit that failure again. Listen to what PJ Fleck says. This is everything about life. You need to fail in life. You need to fail at certain times. Failure, you need to fail at certain times to then gain confidence and conquer it. That's why oftentimes 3-star kids are the best players, because they fail and then they know the moment better for the second time. You can use any analogy. Let's use going into a bar. When you go into a bar, you're 21 years old. Some of y'all might be 19 and fake IDing it. But you're nervous. The game is fast. You're spinning. Talking to girls is whatever. At least for me, maybe not for some people. Talking to girls was tough, and the conversation was tough. But then, when you get to experience, you keep going and going, it slows down. You then become more seasoned. You're able to flourish maybe in the environment. Game of golf that I play, failing, just learning how to be in the situation. It's so important to go into the deep end, and it's so important to go out there and fail. And it's not like there's so much progress between where Josh Allen was at the Chargers game where he was completely lost, where Josh Allen was at the Houston Texans game, and then he's playing the Dolphins well, he's playing the Jets well, he's playing the AFC East so well. So that Foxborough experience was fantastic, and I love the way that they handled Josh Allen because now – there is no McCarron. There's no Nate Peterman. It's completely Josh's team, kind of like Trubisky in Chicago. And the turnover was painful, but they got through it, and they came out on the other side with Josh Allen. And then you celebrated by pretty much burying Adam Gase and that tenure in Miami. Josh Allen scrambling for touchdowns. Kyle Williams catching the football. That's almost like a bowl game. You remember how the Georgia Bulldogs beat TCU to get to 7-5? Sometimes a bowl game can give you great momentum. that game against Miami was certainly like a bowl game, and this franchise is ready to roll. Offensively, I love Beasley. I like the coaching staff. The coaching staff is not going to leave. The defense is going to be good. Ed Oliver, they need to stop the run. They were ranked 15th in running last year. They gave up 115 yards a game. Offensively, there's still going to be turnovers. I don't think Josh Allen is like this Andrew Luck, and I don't think Dable is Frank Reich, Matt Nagy, Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan. But Robert Foster's going to have plays. And Josh Allen, kind of like Big Ben Roethlisberger, he shouldn't be judged by the touchdowns, the completion percentage kind of BS. Josh Allen needs to make plays during the course of the game that are explosive plays and that get Buffalo in the end zone. That's all. Continue to be loose and continue to let the ball go. And Josh Allen is going to know when to make plays, when not to make plays. But he's a very competitive guy. And he has the character. He studies the game. You could see him studying the game. And that's why he's had success. You know, big-armed quarterbacks, a lot of times, they don't throw with anticipation and they don't study the game. Josh Allen studies the game. So Josh Allen, to me, is like Big Ben. And he's going to ride this defense, and he's going to come up with big plays in order to win games. Yes, he might not be Phillip Rivers. He's not going to be the quarterback that's like a Matt Ryan that goes like 30 for 42. He's not Drew Brees. But there's other ways to quarterback in this league and be damn good. And frankly, I don't even like that offense that much anyway. And when you're playing in Buffalo, you can't play the same way in New Orleans. Is Josh Allen ever going to be Drew Brees? No. But Big Ben wasn't Drew Brees either. Drew Brees is a guy who completes, like, he'll play in that West Coast offense with Sean Payton. He'll go like 40 for 54. And the average completion throw will be 6 yards. Josh Allen, these are his stats for the next year. He's going to go like 18 for 29, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, maybe 195 yards throwing, maybe 56 yards running. And he's going to hit Robert Foster in the game for like a 56-yard touchdown. And the Bills are going to be there in the end. And then Devin Singletary is going to help close out games with Cody Ford. Biggest weakness of the team, biggest concern is they're young, right? They're young. Sean McDermott. It's a young team. The offensive line is weak, and this is a team it's a team that is improving. It's not like a New Orleans. It's not like an Indianapolis that kind of is already like really gelling. It's not like a Cowboys. So this is why the Bills are so much fun to talk about, because they are that team on the rise. That's why it's fun to talk about Josh Allen, because some people think he completely sucks. So Josh Allen, when you watch the games, he makes explosive plays that win you games. And I love that style of quarterback. I love the offense. I love kind of running the ball. And I don't love those 5-yard like hitch kind of plays. It doesn't put Josh in position to succeed. And frankly, I just don't even like it that much either. Brett Favre, he's more remembered for the underhand pass. Big Ben's remembered for improvising on third down and finding like his fifth receiver and holding the ball for a minute long to win playoff games. That's what it's all about in the cold. That's what it's all about in Buffalo. And Allen is perfect, and Brandon Beane hit it. Just a perfect selection. Josh is just such a better fit than Josh Rosen. And they could both be good. They're just different players. So that's my assessment on Buffalo, guys. I hope you all enjoyed it. Thank you to the Bills fans that tuned in and encouraged to keep making